Welcome back to another Ultimate Wolf review. So this figure I'm reviewing, which you'll see by the title, but I have a little quick story about this figure too. So this figure, when it first came available to pre-order, it sold out in minutes, hours, everywhere, and then prices were $1,000 for this figure on eBay, and so I couldn't get the pre-order in time. Because right when you go in to buy it, it was already sold out, just like the PS5 was. Obviously, all the scalpers trying to do that stuff. So, I saw a TF source put up the pre-order for this figure. I quickly went in and put the pre-order in. So that's how I was able to get this figure, too. But yeah, literally, the next day I checked TF source. The pre-orders were sold out. So just like the PS5. But anyways, well, obviously the intro right there, and then I'll talk about the figure, show off the box, and then talk about this wonderful figure to transformation, articulation, obviously the size comparisons too. And then I'll talk about posability and wise, how I'll display him with the other figures from this crossover line, and then I'll also show the scenes, pictures from or scenes from the movie that this character is based off of, or a car. But let's take a look at the Transformers Back to the Future 2020 gigawatt figure. And I'll adjust it where you can actually see the camera with the figure too. I would do it before, but then you would hear the audio too. Well, the echo. So warning, there is an echo for this video. Which I'll try to hopefully get that worked out so you don't hear this echo. Part 2. On the cam. Adjust it so you can see that. But yeah, see, we'll hear the echo. I'll swap it so it's one picture instead of two. So, yeah. There, so as you can see, here is gigawatt in all mode. Here is gigawatt in all mode. But let's take a look at the box itself. I already have all this stuff from the box off to the side. So, as you can see, it's done in the G1 box style. You can see the picture with the clamshell, right where the figure would sit, the nice artwork of Gigawatt, right there. Sidebot, Gigawatt, right here, Hasbro, top of the box. The DeLorean, Autobot symbol. More Than Meets the Eye, collaboration, Transformers, 2020, Back to the Future, 35th, then Transformers. Heroic Autobot, More Than Meets the Eye, Back to the Future, 35th anniversary. On the top, you see the transformation steps. The thing is, that symbol, it's kind of that symbol, but it's a lot more steps than what they show. So on this side, you see the Transformers, More Than Meets the Eye, Robot Alma, Gigawatt. Other side, you can see the trailer that the Gigawatt or the DeLorean did come out in the first Back to the Future movie when you first saw the DeLorean. There on the side of the back of the box, you can see the flames right there. Back to the Future Transformers. Obviously, back to the DeLorean. And then the art bio with Gigawatt. Firepower stats like the G1 text packs. So if you want, you could cut it out, but I want. So, and then obviously it's a Universal Studio, so. But, so, the way how they design this box, there's a little feature. So you open it up from this side, you see 1.21 gigawatts. And then, obviously, nothing right there, but you can see the flux capacitor, low detail. Obviously, the shell where the figure would sit But if you open the other side, as you can see, there's no like little strap where you would pull it from. So if you want, if you're a stop motion person, you could, it's actually at the top of the box. I say and then it has issues. Come on, obviously on camera, everything has to have issues. That's the best. There we go. So you pull that down, so it's like actual trailer. So if you want, you could get the effect that gigawatt is coming out of a trailer. Like so, if you want the effect. But yeah, so that's a nice little feature on the box. So now I'll set the box off to the side, I'll put gigawatt back off to the side, because that's not all it comes with. So there's a little cardboard insert box. It's not like the Studio Series cardboard insert. So, and then this has really nice detail too. So here's a collapse. So you can see like the dooring for schematics, front, back, side, all three angles, Back to the Future flux capacitor, and then flux capacitor right there, 1.21 gigawatts. There, and then that's all for this side. Well, it's just this. So we have a little piece if you want to use it. Obviously just cardboard. We have this little warning thing that Hasbro loves throwing in with their figures. One piece of paper where it says made, all that stuff. We've seen these before, it's nothing new. And here is the instructions for it. Top up, you can see Back to the Future, 35th anniversary, Transformers, More Than Meets the Eye, Heroic Autobot, Ages Ain't Up, gigawatt right there, 2020, gigawatt, and then it's just like the modern instruction. It's really good, but if you do have the Transformers or for Cybertron Siege Sideswipe mode, you would know the gigawatt is based off that mode, with a few new steps and detail too. So here's the instructions. It's really simple and easy to transform it. And with a total of 15 steps, it shows you how to incorporate the weapons. And then right here, you could see outline the back of the Lorian. So there's that for the instruction booklet. Learning instructions, it's not really a book, but okay. I'll put that off to the side. But I already know what I'm doing. This figure, I'll show off the accessories it comes with too. But so the first accessory, he used this in the first Back to the Future movie. So how they obviously needed, when they lightning strike, how he had to reach 88 miles per hour to Marty to go back to the future. You get the antenna. So I've seen a few reviews of this. It comes warped when it's out. So it's warped to the side, so you just go straight out. If you look right here, there is a slot right there that this will peg into. So if you want, you could it back, so that way it's like he's about driving to catch onto the wire, if you want. As you can tell, it does real good. That's one of the accessories. This one he did use more in Back to the Future 2 and a little bit in 3. And then if you look at the back, I'll show off the detail. 2, he comes with a Mr. Fusion, which the detail is so small, it's going to be hard for you to read it. There, you can kind of make it out, obviously, just with the light. There, it says Mr. Fusion. So that's a nice little detail, too, for this figure. So this just pegs in right here at the back of the car. So if you want, you can have a Mr. Fusion. And it's a small piece, so try not to lose it after it clips in, or slots in. there. So if you want, you can have Mr. Fusion at the back of the car. And he also does come with his gun. So I'll show where they've done in the store in a second. But here's this gun. It's done in great plastic. You can see the nice molded details there. So you can see the details right there. Right, and then the gun can store at the bottom. You can see the robot mode head and the little thing for robot mode, but there, so the gun can store right there if you want. And there is one more feature. So he did in the movie. I'm not sure if he really used it in Back to the Future 3, and there is nothing to represent Back to the Future 3. It would have been nice, but there's nothing. So at the ending of the first movie, how they were talking about going to the future to save Marty and his girlfriend's kids with Doc, and then how it goes. So then Marty says there isn't enough roads, and this is at the ending of the Back to the Future 1. And then Doc says, where we're going, we don't need roads. So if you know what I'm talking about, and you did see this more in Back to the Future 2, the DeLorean could now hover. So if you want, you can actually have it hover like it did in the movies. So these front wheels, they're on at 2 inches. You just want to bend it at the first inch. So you can see there's the front wheels, and then the back one's just cinched down. And yes, I know I'll show over detail and comparisons. But so if you want, you can have the hover effect. Obviously, if you had a stand, you could peg it in to give it like a hover. So if you want this as the pose, if you want to display your gigawatt, or you can display with Mr. Fusion, the antenna, or the gun equipped at the bottom. You just put the wheels back up, and all of the weapons can store on this figure. And that's not all the car can do, but I'll show the detail. Show this. So here's the front headlights, the back bumper, the hood of the car. So before, when we first saw pictures, before we saw it in person, this was, you could see all this without the tinted windows. And when we first got it in, well, first in-hand persons started coming in, then we saw this was actually tinted. So I've seen and heard multiple reviews of saying that it's not fully tinted on this figure, on their copy. But from what it looks like, mine are fully tinted too, to give it so that way you don't see the gray from and like the black line going across the back. The car, even if you look, you can see out of time. License plate. Across there is the red right there, black. All this nice painted detail too. That's a really nice detail on Hasbro's part. One of the nice paint jobs I've seen in a while. And then here's the bottom of the car. You can see a few things for robot mode. Here, I'll do a few comparisons. I'll show you the other feature. But, so here he is with the Siege Ironhide / Crosshair / the Ratchet repaint, remold. Well, they weren't really remolds, but okay. Well, that's the one to go with, based off the Earthrise. And so you can see he is a deluxe. Well, Gigawatt is. A deluxe compared to Ironhide / Crosshair. The Iron or Ratchet mold, but this is the Crosshairs version. So you can see there's Crosshairs. And yes, if you do have the seats side swipe, you'll see similar stuff in more robot mode, but in transformation. Here he is with the Siege Blue Streak. If you have the Siege Prowl or Smoke Screen, they would scale the same. Compared to with Deluxe. And yes, I know I have his armor on it for car mode. So there's that. Here he is with the Leader Class Double Dealer. They're obviously a big one, a leader compared to a deluxe. Right there. So there's Double Dealer. And then I believe when Siege first originally started, how one of the Micromasters was believed based off the DeLorean. Well, it was based off the DeLorean car. and then like his name was like Swindler. But so you can see how it's kind of based off the DeLorean. I'll obviously use MicroMaster, so I'll have to raise it up. Like the hood, similar, and then like the black right around the side. Obviously no black right here, just the way how it is. But yeah, so you can see it's kind of a DeLorean if you want. So you already have a DeLorean if you have them. Set him off to the side. But yes, all erase all, but everything can store in all of too. But so you can peg Mr. Fusion obviously at the back. You can peg the antenna in the back in that spot. Yes, this look a little bent. But so if you want, you could store everything. And then Mr. Fusion pops out. And then again, just stores at the bottom. But so if you want, you could have everything stored all at once. Obviously, there was the hover wheels, and he did use the DeLorean did use this in all 3 movies. He had the gull-wing doors. The doors do open, and there's just one thing Hasbro could have removed. It would have worked fine. There is, so you can see gull-wing doors, they open on both sides, but there is like a little tab right on the inside of the door right there. So when you're closing it, it will like get stuck for a sec. It would have been fine without that tab, okay. And if you're thinking, do both doors open? Both doors do open if you want. And once you see the thumbnail for alt mode at least. But if you want, you could still deploy these full wheels while they hover. And obviously, if you've seen Back to the Future 3, for the changes for the DeLorean, this whole back was the same, no antenna. He had a new piece for the engine on top of the engine, and the wheels were a different style. But so you can see there is like a little molded detail when you bring the wheels down. Or on the front, but okay. Just put everything back in, but obviously if you want to display them with the gull-wing doors, you might want to do an angle because you'll see the robot mode kibble. And that's the easiest time, it's actually snapped in. There we go. Peg, remove this. So I'll put these accessories off to the side. Yes, I know I took gigawatt off camera. But yeah, all the detail is really good in car mode. So if you were a Transformers collector, you could literally just get gigawatt and display them in car mode as a cheap version instead of getting the actual DeLorean or the Egomos buildable version of gigawatt. But yeah, if you were a Transformers collector, you wouldn't know this is a Transformer until you looked at the bottom. So that's the nice thing about these crossover figures, because they're giving us popular vehicles that are Transformers, like Maverick. Crossover from Top Gun Maverick, that's Maverick's jet. Or the Ectotron from Ghostbusters. True, and then like the X-Men jet, the T-Rex from the first Jurassic Park. But yeah, so the crossovers, they get the other fans who are fans of those movies into Transformers. So it's a good way to introduce more fans into collecting Transformers, like Laura Legends. She hasn't reviewed any figures on her channel. She reviewed Gigawatt. So you can see it's introducing people who aren't Transformers collectors into getting into Transformers. To have those iconic vehicles becoming robots. So it is a good line too. Obviously there were the original crossovers in the past, but these are much better too. But why don't we talk about his robot mode? But yes, if you do have the Sideswipe, you'll see similar stuff. With obviously retooling because it's a DeLorean, not Sideswipe. So at the bottom, first you want to come and pull out these panels like so. Like so. Open up the galling doors. Open them up. Like so. Flip around this whole piece. Around. Like so. So you can see it was like this. I'm also trying to make sure it is on camera. Oh, come on. Alright, something just didn't. Well, getting back in there. There we go. Okay, but so it was like this, and then just like flip around. Rotate the waist. Split the legs in half. Right there, so you can see it's starting to transform. So you're gonna come to this back, push these thrusters in, but if you see how the foot, you can't pull it out, so this is a clever bit of engineering. If you push in the thruster, it pushes out the foot. And yes, I know that was off camera, but I'll do it again on the other side. And then you close up this panel, and then I just close it so that way I know how far to push the thruster in. So you can see the thruster is hidden inside the leg. So for this side, so once you push the thruster in, it will push out the foot. So bring that down, close that panel, and then push the thruster in all the way. There. So that's his legs, all done. Stand him up. That. So you can see he is slightly getting a little taller. A little taller. But he does shrink down a little bit. Too. Just adjusting the camera, making sure everything is in camera. Two. So you can see how he looks. And now we're gonna work on the upper body a little bit. Too, because we're gonna do all the arms and chest. And then we're done. But let's do this. And you want to make sure you follow every step. Flip in these wheels all the way on both hinges. Like so. 1 hinge, 2 hinge. So a double hinge system. So the wheels are inside instead of outside. So yes, you want to make sure they're like this. Because now it reveals that tab right there. Which you want to make sure you have that tab out. And come to the side, so you're gonna need a tool or your nail. Flip that piece down. Go to the other side and flip that round. And then just rotate that all the way around. So it sits right there. It's a little like notch. So it's in place to side. And now you're gonna bring out the arms, bring them out, bring them down from the elbow joint, bring it down to the fist, just like so. This one did a little bit differently, but okay. Okay, so there's that. So now we're gonna, and yes, you want to make sure the rolling doors are to the back. For at least this transformation. Bring down the chest. And you want to make sure you do this step in the right order. We don't bring it all the way down yet, because now this piece is on the swivel. You want to push it down. So this piece goes over around here. This piece goes to the bottom. Works. Okay. But yeah, you want to avoid the head burns. But if you want, as an option, option. You can just leave it without the fully chest and just close up the arms. But I don't know why people would want to leave this piece unflipped, because there was a reason. So if you want, you do have options. If you want. There we go. Just got stuck and then I had to unsnap. So you can see it was like that for car mode. And then you just push down, it gets stuck on the head, angle it around, and then that piece fully flips around, revealing the flux capacitor. And then obviously the dates, you want to make sure these wheels are straight. Tap that in, and tab these arms. Well, bring them forward with the shoulder pads so that way. That's Gigawatt in his robot mode. Just adjusting his pose. I do like to leave these door rings back a little bit. So, not like this, I like to leave them back so it's a different transmission. You don't see a lot of, well, this is just the backpack. If you want to give him like wings, or I could just close these up at this behind her with the articulation. Yeah, so there's Gigawatt in robot mode. Do a full 360. Here he is from the front, side, and back. So it's just the wings as the backpack, or you can change that in a little bit if you want. And obviously you have the thrusters hideaway. So yeah, there's that right here. So I'll show off the detail, then I'll show the weaponry. For the head, you can see that it's blue. It looks like blue metallic. And I do love metallic paint on figures. Gray head sculpt, and then with that little silver detail right there on the forehead, and then the blue eyes and silver face. Full 360 rotation, no issues there. It's on the ball joint. And look, forward, back, and a little angle a little bit. So yeah, ball joint. Here's the chest detail, so you can see it's the flux capacitor. And that's not the only flux capacitor. But look, it's the dates in the movie. In the movies. So you can see, and there's no option to change these dates around. But I don't know how they would do that. But yeah, so you can see there's that. From the arms, full 360 rotation. Unless, if you have these wings forward, you can't get the full 360, so it's up to you on your preference. But yeah, the full 360, out to the side, full bicep swivel, full 360, elbow bend, yes, I'm trying to make sure it's on camera. Face can only hinge in due to transformation. That's the whole arm, same for the other side. Waist swivel, a full 360. But yeah, there's that. Legs can go forward, back that far. So the full splits, if you want. And they could go that far out, all the way. No issues there. Okay, there's that. Thigh swivel. Slight thigh swivel. Knee bend. Not that much due to the way how the back transforms. So if you want, yep, knee bend. A little bit more forward due to the way how it transforms. And since this is a remote WC figure, it doesn't, the feet can't go up or down. Slightly up if you want, but ankle tilt. But yeah, so you can see there's the arms. But if you look at the knees one more time, it's molded in flux capacitors. Obviously I'm painting, but molded in flux capacitors for knees. And that little detail right there, too. But yeah, that's the robot mode. Let's see how he does with scaling wise. Here he is with Sage Hound and Autobot Impactor, the regular, not Netflix edition. But yeah, there he is with those, so you can see how he scales with the Voyager. And once I unrotate him with a Deluxe. So he's about Sage Hound's Deluxe scale. Remove them off to the side. Here he is with Sage Netflix map. With the Netflix Ultra Magnus from the Siege mold. And there's that. Obviously Magnus will be off camera slightly because he is a little bit bigger. And then here he is with Sage Max, a regular version. So you can see obviously Gigawatt would be more smaller. And there you can see all those. All three. Obviously Magnus being a little bit bigger. See, there's a leader class with 2. And for the last 2 robot mode comparisons, here he is with the crossover Ectotron from the Ghostbusters movie, for Ghostbusters Afterlife to be precise, and Maverick from Top Gun 1 and 2. So you can see there he is with the 2 other crossover figures that I do have right now, this moment. Obviously, the X-Jet won't be a bit out till March, and yes, that one is on pre-order. And you just saw the light just fell over and then quickly put it back up. But yeah, so you can see there's all 3 of the crossovers. Well, at this time. Or if you want, if you have the original Ectotron from the original Ghostbusters movies 1 and 2, or you have the Afterlife version. But yeah, so they're really good for the crossovers. Obviously, getting figures who love those movies to get these figures into the Transformers lines, which is really so. If you wanted a cheap version of these figures instead of paying for a lot of money, you could just get these and then leave them in either mode. But it gets more people into Transformers, which is a good thing. But yeah, I'll talk about the final thoughts for Gigawatt when I show the pictures and stuff. After I show the pictures and the scene. Now you see this card. But yeah, and then obviously the weaponry too. So everything can store. Obviously, since he is a Siege figure, he is blast effect all over him. So I'll show off these spots where it's a blast effect. 2. Okay. Which there isn't that many blast effects. There isn't any blast effects, so they removed that thing for this figure. So if you like the blast effects, but you still have these ports under here, so if you want, you could combine them with like a weaponizer or something like that. But yeah, he has more ports on him than Sideswipe had, obviously due to different molds. And yes, I'll let you can only see his upper body. But so for how if you want, you could close these weapons right here on these ports. So there's the crane. If you want, you could rotate. So if you want antenna, so you can have it back. Plug ports on the side of the arms, 2, obviously 1 for the fist, nothing on the back, and 2 for the feet. So yeah, that's a lot of, well, a little bit less ports than we're used to, but it's fine. This is a crossover figure, not, regular mainline figure from the regular lines, like Sage, Earthrise, Kingdom, and the other lines. So how I'll display my gigawatt, I'll put the, if you want, you could put the antenna either one, but I put it at the upper port, and you'll definitely see how I display it once you see the thumbnail for this video. But yeah, I slightly bring the arm like that. But for the other side, so here's his regular gun. And if you see, there's like a little clip. So if you want, you could peg Mr. Fusion at the top of the gun, if you want, or peg it at the back. Which I just peg at the back, like so. Okay, but yeah. Yes, I can hear the echo. So there's the gun in his hand. Obviously, with the articulation, you could get it into a dynamic pose. So I usually have them like leaning a little bit down so that way, well, where I'll display it. You see the more and the. But yeah, I pose them somewhat like this, but I bring the gun down slightly. I have that head slightly angled, and I just like bring this. You'll see what I do with the fist when you see the thumbnail. It's somewhat like that for the right fist. For the left fist, I mean, no. But that's not all I display with. I took the blast effect that came with blowpipe that I used with these mags for his cannon, but I do like it better on Gigawatt. Speaking of blast effects, there would have been one thing that would have made Ectotron even better, maybe even one of my top 10 figures for 2020. Or 2021, but that would have been the Proton Stream Blast Effect. If Ectotron came with that, that would have been a great accessory. So hoping we do get it from another crossover figure, hopefully. Praying that we do, so that way we could give our Ectotron, because it is loose compatible, a Proton Stream Blast Effect. That would have been a great piece to incorporate with the Afterlife or the regular Ectotron. Or Ecto 1 for the Ghostbusters fans. And yes, I just saw the blast effect came out, but that's fine. But yeah, so that way you can slightly see the flux capacitor when I do pose him, and then I could rotate the left leg at that swivel and just. But yeah, it's similar to that for how I'll pose my Gigawatt, but I don't pose him by myself. So I mentioned this Top Gun Maverick review, which you won't be able to find. But for the crossovers, I like to display them maybe with the Studio Series, because those are based off movie figures from like the Bayverse movies or the original Studio Series line for the 1986 movie figures. But I'll display Gigawatt with the other crossovers. Which I can actually show you how I'll display. Well, Gigawatt with the others. And there was enough room for him for this set, well, crossovers right above the Stu Series shelf, which you won't see until the next collection video. But yeah, and then like I slightly rotate this in. So that way, and then I bring this so that way. And then I rotate the head. Right, swivel. Bring forward the left leg, but give that bend. And remember, he did have ankle tilt, so that did help. Which I wish Ecto 1 would have. But it's okay. And then like I put something like that. Just balancing him out so he doesn't fall over. Come on, Maverick. Don't you just love when figures try to fall over on camera? Okay. There. So that way. And then I have the bike. That came with him right in the front. Yes, I know this might be hard to see. Well, once I bring all of them. I do. But I bring my... But yeah, there isn't enough room for all of them. I'm just trying to make sure I can at least fit all of them in camp. Right. And then for Ecto 1, how he came with both Ghosts, Slimer and Muncher, I displayed these two right in front of them. At the front, like how I displayed by. But with Ecto 1, and slightly bring up the camera. Slide the bike back. We're almost done with this video, so it won't be long. One, and let me just quickly pose Ecto. 1. Gun in the hand. Okay. I'll quickly put this in. Oh, come on, can you stop coming out? There. Okay, there's that. Just that stability. Rotate the head. Okay, let me just equip the backpack with the string, the blue hose, and then I believe that's everything. And obviously I'll do the quick pictures of the review. Oh, well, he boring. And I'll adjust it so you can't hear the echo when I do that part. And yes, it was PR who said, obviously, they wish they included something to resemble Back to the Future 3, which they did not include, unfortunately. Not know if I got them on balance, but there. And I rotate this, put it over slightly. Bring this gigawatt back a little bit. So that way, when you look at the very top shelf, you can see all three. And then obviously, I'll have to rearrange it for the other crossover figures. And I'll just slightly re-angle Gigawatt's gun. But so this is how I'll display these figures. All the crossover ones. Don't you fall over. Come on, non-cam. But yeah, I'll display all three, something like that. We'll see once you see a collection video. Maybe after I get all the reviews filmed from the... Well, after I get those videos from... I'll talk about that in a quick sec. But this is how I'll display these crossover figures. Obviously you can see the back right there and slightly... But yeah, so that's how I'll display these figures. Now I'll show the pictures and then I'll end the video. Well, obviously with my final thoughts too, of Gigawatt. too, and I'll bring the mic in closer so that way I'm not leaning over and talking into the mic, which I was slightly doing when I was filming the review portion of it. And no, I will not turn on the cam. I usually don't do it unless it's like a comic book or something. I'll share the screen now. So let me share this. That. So obviously you'll see the screen. So this is the, well, evolution for the cars. So the first one is Back to the Future 1. So you can see the car, how it's like the, and then you can see like the DMC right there, sides, the doors and back. But as you can see, there's the antenna, and this is for Back to the Future 2. So you can see there's Mr. Fusion with the wheels. Yeah, everything's the same. Obviously just with Mr. Fusion, which you can actually see that spot right there. And the little black detail too, which I don't even think the figure actually had that little black detail. No, the figure does not have that little detail. It's silver instead. So, maybe, well, black, I believe black is cheaper paint, so that could have been why they didn't go with it. But if you look right here, there's stuff for the Back to the Future 3. So obviously, if they did this, I don't know how they would do it, because it did have new wheels, as you can see right here. A different design from the 1 and 2 design. And it did have a new engine, so they probably included the new engine. I don't know how they would have included the wheels though. Maybe pop off and then pop on the new ones. That's probably what they could have done. And here is the flux capacitor from the movie. So obviously it's different areas, but you can obviously see the flux capacitor right there. The dates from the movies. They're in a different order. Too, but so you can see there is the dates, and obviously the Back to the Future day, and this one too, which we didn't even, and obviously 1985, where he did time travel to obviously from the, if you've seen Back to the Future 1. But yeah, so that's the close out these other tabs. So I'll leave them open. I'll stop sharing screen. So now I just do like my final thoughts for the video, and then I'll do like other stuff. But yeah, the figure is great. Obviously, a lot of stuff is movie accurate. Maybe they could have included something for Back to the Future 3, like that other engine, but I don't know how they would attach it. They could have probably found something. Everything is good. The joints are tight. He didn't fall over like how you've seen. But yeah, the joints are tight. The details on robot mode and car mode are fantastic. Even the car mode, you can display them in car mode. You wouldn't even know it's Transformer. Well, if you do open the doors, so that's the only thing. But the details are everything, like the Mr. Fusion writing on the side of Mr. Fusion. The antenna. So you at least do have something if you want. You can display them in car mode or robot mode. I was debating if I would display the figure in robot or all mode before I actually got the figure. And then I just stayed with the robot mode too. But yeah, all the joints are tight. But here's the thing. When I did get the figure first, when I was like first doing the articulation test, when I first opened up the figure and transformed it for the first time, the right knee joint was tight, the thigh was tight, and now it's not as tight. So yeah, all the joints are tight. Nothing is loose on this figure. So all tight joints. You obviously saw the transformation was simple. Obviously, if you have the Siege Cybertruck mold, you will know see a few differences between the molds. I don't have the Siege Cybertruck mold yet. But yeah, so that's been the Transformers crossover, Back to the Future. But yeah, so I have been the Ultimate Wolf. Obviously, the issue with the main channel. All the videos have been deleted, so I'll have new reviews. I'll still keep continuing reviews on this channel, which is the gaming channel. I just re-edited the name. The Ultimate Wolf Reviews and Gaming, I edited the bio too. I edited Patreon, so you can find the Ultimate Wolf on Patreon, Instagram too, and I adjusted so did the tier for Patreon, so you can go look at that. Ultimate Wolf on Twitch. And yeah, you can find the Ultimate Wolf anywhere. Seeing DT, you would know I would hunt down humans in the forest in DT for Season 1, which I do have Season 1 gameplay on this channel. And Season 2 on this channel, which is another area where I would hunt down humans. But yeah, I know I have the, maybe that label 66 bricks Soundwave whenever that thing arrives. It's been months since it's like shipped out. So I don't know when that's going to arrive or whenever it will arrive. Hopefully it does, so I have 5 new videos or longer, because that's like how long, 5 to 6, because that's like how long it took me to build that Optimus Prime one. But yeah, there's that. Obviously, there's Bumblebee from the label 66 bricks. I will still do building sets, like I know, like the model kits Ambrose did, like the PlayStation one, a couple new, so maybe I'll get those. And when I do that and live unboxings, which I do have the unboxing from Ninja Bell 1000 from the unboxing. So when I do the live unboxing and the building, those will all be live here on YouTube. So you guys can interact with me when I do the reviews too. Well, do the live streams too. And now obviously I will still do live gameplay. I know some people are just in here for the reviews too. Well, just to watch my reviews and get their own opinion. But yeah, if you love Back to the Future, then you probably should definitely get this figure. And I have been the Ultimate Wolf.